everybody, I'm Moo.
And I'm Fuji.
And we just watched Hercules.
Did you forget what we watched?
No, I was about to sing a song. I was about to go, who made the gladiator, Hercules? But then I fucked up, so. But you put the gladiator. I said foot gladiator. I don't know. Okay, anyway, we watched Hercules.
It's the first Disney superhero movie.
Yeah, and it, has problems.
See, I think that I dislike this movie less than other people seem to.
I actually don't dislike this movie. I actually do enjoy it. I do enjoy it a lot, but it, at the same time, it's very, 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 very flawed. Like, it's mostly, it comes down to is the plot holes.
I mean, sure it is, but so is Pocahontas.
Okay, but Pocahontas was bad in a different way. Actually, why don't we ask that? I think, you know what? I'm going to think about it. I think the reason why Pocahontas and Hercules are not the same kind of not that great, or in Pocahontas' case, pretty bad, is down to how it looks and the character voice acting. I really do think it's...
Well, I mean, Pocahontas was a drama. Like, this is a comedy.
I know, but, like, when you think about Pocahontas' voice, like, I remember because I grew up on it, but, like, but I will recognize Meghra's voice first over Pocahontas, for example.
Oh, sure, yeah, the characters are way stronger in this movie.
Yeah, exactly. That's the biggest difference, is both of them had, like, weird plot problems and, pacing issues and bad guy issues, because I realized if Pocahontas never meets Radcliffe or talks to him in her movie, ever. And in this movie, Hercules and Hades do not meet face to face, or actually Hercules doesn't even know he exists. Hades really, like, you know, is mad at him or anything like that until a good, like, 40 minutes into the movie.
And I mean, you know, it's thinking about it, it's almost like Disney's kind of falling prey to their own tropes, because, I mean, Hercules' primary conflict in this movie is not an external conflict, it's an internal conflict.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, by virtue of it being a Disney movie, it's like, oh, there needs to be a Disney villain. And I mean, there's a great Disney villain here, but he's just not really relevant to the conflict that's going on with Hercules.
No,
and I mean, the same with Pocahontas. Like, the deal with, like, Pocahontas and John Smith, like, the conflict that they're facing, it's an external conflict, but it's not like an antagonist-driven conflict.
No.
And it's like, there just kind of had to be an antagonist in there somewhere for it to be a Disney movie.
Yeah, it's definitely. And also, this is welcome to Lion King Part 2, Electric Boogaloo.
It's because Lion King was great.
Yeah, Lion King was great, and they, like, pretty much, a lot of visually actually remind me of Lion King, especially in that beginning when baby Hercules is taken. And actually, because, like, Hades is a lot like Scar, except he's the car salesman version of Scar. In that case, and, like, it's kind of a similar idea, except the difference is, like, Zeus doesn't fucking die, even though Zeus is an asshole. But, you know, that's Greek myth. We should just focus on Hercules. I
think you can't watch this movie and be thinking about Greek myths.
Not really, no.
I mean, not at all. Like,
no.
it just kind of, if you're thinking about it and you're trying to criticize it from the point of view of,
yeah.
oh, the story doesn't go like that,
right.
Like, you're not gonna have a good time
No.
with this movie.
Do not go into this movie expecting any sort of accuracy to the Greek myth. Like don't do it.
It's hilariously clear that they did their research, and
yeah.
it's in the writing that, you know, it's so, like,
Someone
there are funny things.
SII.
No, I mean, there's funny things, like,
yeah.
Like, be like, ha, you're not Zeus's son. And, like, I think people would think that's funny on one level, and then people who are familiar with Greek myths would find it funny, like, on a different level.
Right. But if you, like, sit there and go, oh, you know how this is not how the story goes at all, or even...
Like, you're not gonna have a good time.
No, yeah, so do not go into this movie ever expecting that.
I mean, don't go into any Disney movie...
Okay, true.
With that mindset.
Or really not too many adaptions, but especially when it comes to Disney. But not too many adaptions, we shouldn't do that. But... I think, but speaking of it being, like, you know, composing of other things, Hercules is definitely a product of other things. It's like they threw a bunch of shit in a bag and dumped it on the floor and went, all right, here's our movie. And
I mean, we have it recorded that, you know, Musker and Clements were like, we wanted to do a superhero movie.
Yep.
And there's a lot of elements here that, like, he's such, you know, original Superman, like Christopher Reeve's Superman.
Yeah, just has red hair. Yeah, but, like, the problem is that the Greek mythology, just in general, doesn't, or even their stories about their heroes, just doesn't fit superhero mythos the same way. Because, like, the Greeks' virtues are different than ours. So what we value is a lot different. And
See,
as a result,
we're starting to do that thing again where we're judging this movie from what it, from the original source material, which I don't think it is. Like, I don't think you
well,
should judge it by
oh,
those
no. I'm not
values.
judging it. I'm just saying
You
that.
totally are.
No. I'm saying that it causes, like, the problems that it has. I think it's a contributing factor to it because of what they're adapting from the source material. I think Hercules, if they were going to pick a Greek myth to make into a Disney movie, I don't think Hercules was a good choice per se. Yeah, he's one of the ones that have superpowers, so to speak. Like, he is very strong. So I could at the same time I could kind of see the logic in it, but in the end, it makes it more difficult to adapt, if that makes any sense. Like, even if they were playing fast and loose with it, I think other Greek hero myths could have been a better choice. Like, I really think Perseus could have been a pretty decent choice.
I mean, you say that, but it's like
but then they had Clash of the Titans to deal with is the thing. I think that's why they didn't.
I mean, that came out way before. But I mean, the thing that I'm saying is that it could be any of them. Like, it could be Perseus, it could be, whoever.
Right.
And it still would have been this movie.
Yeah, it just would have been like
different things happening, but it's
because there's other factors at play.
It would have been this movie just with a different guy's name on it.
I mean, but I think that's just the contributing factor to its other things. It could have still been good, but other factors are contributing to it because they're also, like, besides the plot holes, because there are plot holes in this movie. There's so many plot holes in this movie. It's like, because they're trying to put in, like, a commentary on, like, because at the time this came out in 99? Yeah.
Oh, 97.
97? Okay, yeah, you're right. It's 97. They came out in 97, and around this time period, Michael Jordan
was like the king of the world.
Yeah, pretty much. So this is obviously like a shout out to that, and like they put in some Superman, they put in some Rocky elements in it, some Karate Kid, put in some and then put in like that, and as a result it kind of came as a weird blend of things. It never meshed quite well or all the way, if you know what I mean. If that makes any sense. Like, it just didn't mush exactly how and I mean, that makes sense. Yeah.
I mean, if we're talking about this, like, Lindsay Ellis did, the video that we've both seen and we've both watched it, and like, I like a lot.
I like a lot of it. I think she brings up a lot of good points in her video. I can link in the description, but when she talks about, because pretty much this movie was made not because Musker and Clements, like, I want to say they wanted to make Treasure Planet. That's what they wanted to make. But Katzenberg was like, okay, if you make another financially successful film,
which they'd made a ton of stuff.
Right, you can make Treasure Planet, and this was the film they needed to make successful. So that's what they did, is they made elements to be mostly successful. It wasn't like a very big hit, but it was a hit.
It's a crowd pleaser sort of a movie.
Yes. It's probably why it hasn't like aged great, because not 1997 anymore.
It's a very 90s movie.
Yeah, it's really 90s. I think what keeps this movie though from being like a complete like sinker was, like I said earlier, as the characters.
Funny.
And
it's a funny movie.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah.
It's a funny movie, and the characters besides Hercules are all very interesting.
Okay, I like Hercules.
I like him enough.
Like,
yeah.
I don't. He's a protagonist. He's a hero protagonist. And like, he has a motivation, and he learns things over the course of this movie.
What does he learn at the end, dude? Just curious to see what you think you took away from it.
Because, okay, he spends this whole movie, like, saying, I'm looking for the place where I belong, this place where I belong. And at the end, he chooses where he belongs.
Yeah.
Like, that's the deal, is that you don't rely on other people to determine where you belong. If you rely on other people to determine where you belong, like, you're never going to find that place. Like, you have to make the decision.
Mm-hmm.
And so at the end, like, all the gods are saying, like, yeah, you belong here. We're all saying you belong here. And he says, like, no, I belong with Meg.
Yeah.
And, like, some of it's that, like, forced heteronormativity that we love. But, I mean, like, to me, that's the thing, is, like, no longer letting where you belong be in the hands of other people. And it's like,
I can see that.
That's why Superman is compelling, because Superman chooses to be on Earth and to help people.
Yeah.
Like, Superman isn't Superman because other people are like, you're here and you're Superman and you save us. Like, Superman is interesting because he chooses to be Superman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that I finally just put into words why Hercules is like not as plain as I think people think he is.
yeah, okay, yeah, I could definitely, I see your
Because
point, definitely, yeah.
there's not been a Disney hero up till now who really did that.
I guess the closest comparison would probably be Aladdin.
Mm.
That's the
No,
closest. It's not exact at all, but
Aladdin was more like no matter who you are,
or
you
where you
can
came
do
from.
yeah, or where you came from, you can be somebody. You can be the person you want to be regardless of, where you came from or who you are.
Yeah,
Like this is more you have to be responsible for your own belonging.
I could see that. Yeah, yeah. I still think he's not as like
And I think this is
as interesting as the other characters around him. I think I could see that being a problem. So I could see why people like the other ones more.
sure.
Like I personally like the other ones more, but like
Other ones like other characters?
yeah, other characters.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
like I like Megger. She's great, and Hades is really enjoyable. I don't know
But
how
it's
much I
like
care about
could
Gold
you
Titties, but you know,
like okay, and the thing is like Meg has an interesting character arc too.
yes,
Like
she
I think
does
Meg could support a whole movie on her own.
definitely.
But like, Hades is funny but like is not like main character sort
No,
of material. And
no.
so I guess I'm thinking of this I totally lost my train of thought.
I'm sorry.
Fuck you.
I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to break your chain of thought. I don't know if it'll help, but I said that I think that Hercules is not as interesting in comparison to the people around him. Maybe in a different movie with other characters, it could have been he could have stood out more. But like as it is,
This is the same reason why
same.
they felt like they had to make Superman dark and edgy. Because
Oh,
Superman was this like Clark Kent, he's this like everyday Midwestern dude, and
Yeah.
he just is a really good guy, and he makes me so sad because he's such a good guy, and they
You
fucked
haven't
him
even
up.
seen Man of Steel, and you know.
I saw Superman Returns, and it was.
Well, I mean, the older Superman sequels have problems
That's
that are
not an old.
different.
No, I saw that when it came out.
Well, okay, it's older now, dude. It's 2017.
I know. I don't count that as like Christopher Reeve's Superman old though.
Okay, okay.
But like that's why they felt like they had to make Superman dark and edgy. Was they were like, it's this hero archetype, and he's like boring and such a good, goody two shoes sort of guy.
Right.
And then they made him dark and edgy, and it's like, no, that's not who he is. And that's why like Hercules is kind of boring, but it's like he's such a good guy.
He is a good dude, yeah.
And maybe that's why like it was dated in the 90s,
Yeah.
but like we hadn't yet reached that point of like we need dark and edgy protagonists. And so that's why he like sits in this really weird in between kind of world.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
yeah.
I totally remember what I was going to say.
Okay, great.
So, mid 90s, I'm a little bit older than you.
Mhm.
And in the mid 90s, it's true, there was this like crazy hero worship of these like sports celebrities.
Mhm.
And the main reason why we don't have that anymore is because we know everyone's on steroids. But
Yep.
like it was this like crazy hero worship, and I think that there really were, a lot of kids even today. And I mean, I think it's comparable to like YouTubers. Like
Oh yeah, yeah.
there are YouTubers who have been elevated to celebrity status.
Mhm.
I mean, definitely on their hard work. I'm not saying
Right,
that
right.
people don't work hard, but it's like there's this celebrity status, and there are kids who like yearn for that status.
Yeah.
And don't, I think, understand the responsibility, like the personal responsibility it takes to achieve that level of celebrity.
Yeah.
And I think that's some of what this movie is talking about, is that it's like, here's this guy, and he wants to quote unquote belong.
Yeah.
And he begins to, I mean, his definition of belonging is based on other people saying that he belongs here.
Mhm.
When other people are saying that he belongs, and he feels like he belongs.
Mhm.
And I think that's part of that weird 90s celebrity worship, was that like, if the whole world was like, yeah, you're amazing, you're popular, you get
Yeah.
all this money, you get all this stuff,
Uh-huh.
like believing, I can see this movie like being in response to that, saying that, believing that is not right.
Yeah, yeah, I could see it saying that.
And it's, in the end, Hercules is turning down being a god. Like he's turning down like the highest of the highest, celebrity
immortality.
status, in favor of this woman.
Yeah.
Because he loves her.
Yeah.
And it's like, choosing what are your priorities to yourself, regardless of what everyone else is saying. Like,
Mhm.
if he became a god, then of course everyone would be like literally worshiping him.
Yeah.
And he's choosing not to have that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
so
no,
I
can see
feel
it.
like that's the place where this movie belongs. And it might be something that we don't have it. I think we still have it, of course, but I think we
Mhm.
don't have it quite as strongly as we did sort of in that mid-late 90s era.
I see your point. I didn't think about it that way. I mean, yeah, once again, I still think the people around. I think in a different movie, if Hercules was in a different movie, same character, maybe same arc, and had less interesting people around him, he probably would have garnered more attention. Plus, I think maybe if this movie was re-released in theaters, for example, and someone saw it for the first time, they probably would have a different opinion of, say, people our age who have been around it and have seen this like change from goody two shoes hero to like dark, gritty, edgy, whatever, that kind of
And
deal.
now we're kind of seeing the
It'd be
swing
different.
back. I mean,
Yeah.
Wonder Woman.
God bless Wonder Woman.
Like, she's so pure-hearted, and she
Yeah.
wants to go out and help people. But again,
Right.
she's this powerful figure who's doing it out of her own personal accord.
Right. Oh, I just realized something sitting here. Hercules doesn't go into heroism to save people. Like,
No.
out of pure altruism to save people.
No, he doesn't, and they make it really clear.
They make it very clear. Like, there's that part where Meg, after she tells
the
Hercules,
two boys, they're in a landslide, and he's like, "This is great."
She goes, "You're really choked up about this, aren't you?" And so, yeah, the movie does call it out on, but I don't know. Maybe I felt like they didn't 100% complete that particular aspect of his arc all the way. It feels weird, if that makes sense. Like, it feels like there's something missing from this movie.
Oh, there's a ton that's missing.
Yeah.
But it's like, that's the plot thread that I see.
Okay,
And
okay, I
maybe
see what you mean
it's
there.
because I remember 1997 really clearly.
I remember most
You
of
know.
1987. I mean, I was a little bit younger, but I remember enough. I saw this movie in theaters.
I saw it in theaters too, yeah.
This got me interested in Greek mythology. And then I remember the first time I opened up a Greek mythology book, and then the first part was about note it was a child-friendly Greek mythology book, so it didn't it skimped on some of the details, but it did tell you what happened, pretty much. So anyway, the first part was and then the 7 brothers married the 7 sisters, and I'm like, oh wait, what? And then I read the Hercules myth, and I went, whew, that is not like the Disney movie.
I think that when you think of the term Disneyfied, this movie is kind of the trope encodifier for Disneyfied.
Yeah. And at this point in the Disney company, we are hitting, because this is a little bit after Frank Welker's sudden death.
Wells.
Did I pronounce his name right? Wells? It's Frank Wells? I think it is Frank Wells. Okay. I think it's a little bit after his death. And I can double check for that. But it's a bit after his death, and because the movie that came out was, yeah, he died around this time period, before he Heisenberg left before when Lion King came out, so it was before that. After that happened, it kind of unhinged the Disney company for a little while, where they we're just oh crap, what do? We have this guy who was leading us is now gone. It's kind of once again a situation where, yeah, here he is. Yeah, it's Frank Wells. It became a situation with when Walt Disney passed away. But when Walt Disney died, he didn't really leave behind someone that had a large ego, if that makes any sense.
Because everyone under Walt Disney was equally under Walt Disney.
Exactly, Walt Disney was the ego, if you think about it. And his brother Roy kept him in check, and Roy was not a big ego kind of dude. But when Frank Wells, on the other hand, he was the mediator between Katzenberg and Eisner, and both those guys, not to say this in a negative way, though it probably lead to negative things, they both had egos, and they both had big ideas, and they had ideas how the company should be run. And Frank Wells was probably the only person that was a mediator between the two of them. So when he was suddenly dead in 94, it kind of broke the what's the word, the I guess the work,
the balance.
Thank you. The balance between those two, and that's what caused the Disney company to kind of start going erratic, because we're about to see that soonish. We're not
dinosaur.
We're close to that, aren't we? Shit. we're not there just yet, but we're getting there. We hit it round time Fantasia 2099. Is when you start seeing the effects of this because animated movies take a long time to make. It takes a while to see effects of things that happen in that industry if to really see it. So we won't be seeing this effect until 2000 Fantasia 2000. Not that Fantasia 2000 was a terrible thing. It's just like when we get to watching it, I'm gonna be like, so maybe this is like a sign of something that kind of bounced because Eisner was a very business focused man. Katzenberg, how do you put Katzenberg?
Very passionate.
That's a good way to put it, yeah. He's a very passionate dude.
Like
And
a big ideas dude. I mean, just like, I don't know. I do admire him a lot.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah.
I just think his personality is just kind of...
I think when you start getting into the upper echelons of like creative industry, I've worked with that sort of person.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I really just don't have words for it.
It is hard to put it into words, but point being is they ended up being a clash because Eisner is super business focused kind of guy, and he wanted Disney to be more focused, more merchandise driven, more our parks should be for more families. We don't not as much maintenance on the rides, that kind of thing. And Katzenberg, that's part mostly why he left. And after Lion King came out, is because he just probably got sick of it. Like he wanted to do his own thing. Hence, DreamWorks became a thing, and we're gonna see in 2000 because in Fantasia 2000, Fantasia 2000's biggest problem is in the in-betweens between the shorts. Instead of just a little summary on who the music is and whatnot. They have comedians and celebrities and people tell jokes and shit in between these beautiful shorts. And some of the shorts are actually more cartoony, if that makes any sense, compared to Fantasia previously. And I'll talk about it more when we get to Fantasia 2000. But I think having the celebrities there would be a draw. It's a commercial draw to get people to go see it. And that's why they're there. Even if it kind of ruins the tone of Fantasia 2000, that's why people go. They want to go and see the comedians or whatnot have you, according to people who. It's a very business driven decision, basically, and not less of a creative one.
It's not wrong.
It's not. I could see the logic behind it for sure, but
I think you come into that age old. Do you make something? How do you make something? What's your definition of success?
Yes,
because a lot of these, there would be kind of this shallow drive to go see these things. In the present, in the contemporary moment when it came out, it's like, oh, so and so's in this thing, let's go see it. Versus there are directors who think about, how is this going to be viewed in 10 years, in 20 years, and I think that for some people that's the important thing. Yeah. And then for other people it is very much, how do I make my money today? Because if you don't make your money today, you're not going to be making something 20 years from now. And it's just, a very striking difference in how you approach making the same sort of art.
And I think we kind of need both those groups in a creative process.
You need both of them.
But the problem with that is it clashes a lot. And if you have too much of one thing, it's not going to work. I think Hercules is actually a pretty decent example of that, because this is we can market this. This is things people like right now, and we can watch this. And it doesn't really have in mind, well, Michael Jordan's not going to last until 2017, so probably not. So how will that age? But they're weren't thinking about that.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a priority.
No, same. That's why there's so many plot holes in the stories, because it wasn't a priority. Because Musker and Clements were like, okay, we need to make a movie. We'll get all these writers, which, by the way, this movie had a lot of writers. And we're gonna make this movie so people will go see it and it'll make money and we can make Treasure Planet, which is what they wanted to make. Unfortunately, Treasure Planet had a tragic ending there, and this is kind of the start of when the Disney tropes and brand starts kind of.
I mean, for what it's worth, the Disney princess as a brand started around this time too, didn't it? Or was it a little later?
No, it started around this time. It was late 90s. I know Eisner came up with it.
Oh yeah,
to make it a brand. And I think it is around now that started happening in 97.
And I think it's interesting from a meta standpoint. We should probably wrap this up soon.
Yeah, well, we can figure it up.
I mean, last thing I'm going to say is that, yeah, from this point forward, it's interesting because this is where I think Disney really acquires that, like, giant company that's swallowing up everything sort of persona. And it's funny because I think people have kind of backed off on them for that, even though more so than ever they do that.
They had, yes, to do. Well, I mean, look, they have Star Wars. They have the thing that put them out of business. Almost put them out of business years ago. Now it's theirs.
And yet now people are like, okay with this.
It's more normalized, I think.
Yeah.
Plus, I think the product that Disney has made has changed. Like, back then, like, right now, it's like, oh, crap, it's another soulless Disney bullshit. But now we get things like Moana and Zootopia, for example, and they're actually really good movies. And so people are willing to be like, okay, if you're going to make good movies, sure, you can eat everything in sight. Disney, go right ahead. Eat that company. Eat that one. It's all yours now. The Disney just kind of devours everything as it goes. But, yeah, I could definitely see that for sure. I agree. Like, so yeah, I do like Hercules. I have a lot of nostalgia for it. I sometimes put it on just to have something on.
It's a time capsule of a movie.
It is. It really is, and I still enjoy it even with its problems. I really do. I really, really do. It's even if I can bag on it all day if I wanted to, because Hades is the Lord of the Underworld and didn't know Hercules wasn't dead.
They probably just killed some other kid off screen.
They didn't say so it doesn't fucking count. Come on, it's Snow White. They didn't. The huntsman didn't just go. He like go run Snow White, and then he has a heart. He has the box and hands it to the evil queen. He's like, here you go, and the evil queen didn't look, and there's like it never says that he took a heart from an animal and put it in there. They do say that. They do say it in the movie, but if it's like if they didn't say that, then the queen would be like, ah, yes, there was a heart in this box for sure, and then didn't open it until like a couple days later. Went, what? Oh shit, it pulled. Except in this case, it's years. It's fucking years. But like that, for example, like that's despite its flaws, I still enjoyed the hell out of this movie. Like I really do.
It's because people bought it in The Lion King.
Yep.
Lion King is better than this movie.
Lion King is way better.
Okay, that's my last line. I'm done.
Our next movie is Mulan. Yeah! I love Mulan, but I know what you hate in Mulan. True to Your Heart is coming up that we have to listen to.
I like how you tease something and then immediately spoil it.
Yeah, well, you know me.
Okay, I'm putting the video in.
And then Fuji walks away from me. Anyway, see you then.